Hey, I'm Pennma. I want to talk about Death Battle. I like Death Battle, so I'm going to talk about Death Battle. And here we are for the start of Season 9 of Death Battle. And we're starting here with the first matchup, Harley Quinn versus Jinx. Which I think is a good fun matchup where we get DC characters all the goddamn time in Death Battle. I mean, it's almost to a point that there's like the running meme of the DC win streak. But yeah, and here we have them fighting the first League of Legends character they've ever introduced. Makes sense as a matchup. I enjoy it. Definitely not one that I was like begging for or, clawing at the bit. Just like as soon as it showed, I was like, yes, hype. It wasn't one of those for me. But I was like, cool. I would like to see what they do with it. And I guess, yeah, I think they did some cool stuff with it. So general matchup being just, wacky ladies with guns and explosives. Pretty fun. So let's talk about the actual episode now. Harley stuff. And we just get BS, Harley information. We all know the stuff. She was a psychiatrist. She worked on the Joker. The Joker decided, you know what, I can manipulate this person and get a henchman out of it. And he did. And now she's very, very, very popular. So much to the point where they had to make her an anti-hero so that they could use her more, or at least market her more to children. Because you can't really market the Joker to children, he's a murderer. But I guess so is Harley Quinn. But she does it for good and works with Batman sometimes. So, yeah, you do find out some fun things that at least I didn't know about Harley. We all know about her relationship with, Poison Ivy. I didn't know that Ivy gave her, essentially, a mini super soldier serum to give her a healing factor and some enhanced strength. That's some shit I did not know. I didn't know about, all of her, toys and tricks that she would have gotten through Jokers. And then she worked on, a whole bunch of teams. Other fun thing, didn't know she fucking trained with the Amazons for a little while. Pretty wild. And I will say, some of that, whenever I was watching the episode, I was like, that's some big ups for Harley there. She did do some wacky stuff, stuff I saw, how she was able to, write. She got the pages of the comic and was able to do some meta stuff with it, but that was more just because she had a page of the comic book, and that's something and the way I describe it is, that's something that she did, not something she can do. Which I feel makes sense. I was impressed with stuff Harley can do. And Harley is a fun character. I like Harley. She, it really is mostly just what design does she have or whatever. To be fair, I haven't seen Birds of Prey. I don't know if they did anything, but I didn't like the designs. My favorite design is from year 2 or 3 of Injustice, the comic book, where it's her classic attire, but she doesn't have the bells, and it looks great. Moving on to Jinx. Since this is the first time they've done League of Legends stuff, it's very interesting to see where they're going with it, especially because, League notably got rebooted, or they just completely redid the lore at one point a couple years back. I say a couple years, this would have been 8 years now, I think. There's a new TV show, Arcane, and then there's just, promotional material, and the card game, and probably Project L when that comes out. Maybe. And Jinx is, she's a fun character. Who doesn't like it? We all saw the music video for Get Jinxed when it came out, even whenever, I didn't play League of Legends back then, because I didn't have a good PC that I wanted to play it on, or I just wasn't really convinced enough. I played Smite instead, and then I came to console, so I didn't have to play it on my shitty laptop. I've played some League. Enough to not get mad, but also not enough to know what I'm doing most of the time. I'm looking forward to Project L is mostly what it's going. Because you're taking stuff from trailers and other stuff. Very interesting to see the way they did it. And giving them in-game items and stuff. Mostly because this is an entire genre of game that Death Battle's not tackled yet, they have to approach it in a new way. So they give her in-game items. And apparently they took it from builds that pro players use, which I think is fun. One thing I didn't bring up yet, but that they have in this episode is Ringmaster. gets to do a lot more stuff. It's always fun to see, you know, more people show up besides Wiz and Boomstick. Because, you know, we've had that dynamic for so long, and then we're getting new characters, and especially Ringmaster I really enjoy. He's just a fun character. Arkeyan, I don't think there's anything too crazy that happened with Arkeyan. Mostly just that cements, like, just relationships that you had with other characters. Introduce Silco, and notably just give her Shimmer, which I guess gives her some... What does it say that Shimmer does? It's just essentially a toxic steroid. Toxic strength and speed-enhancing drug that permanently altered her body's biochemistry. Okay, that's what it says. And also just growing up in Zon. She has some immunity to certain levels of toxins. And also because a bunch of her weapons are hex tech, they're comparable to magic, which that's fun. It was very interesting to see how they tackled a new type of thing with Jinx. Next was the fight, but I'm splitting this into 3 sections. So first things first, I'm going to start with the actual music, because I really like death battle music. So this one we got was Mad Laugh Riot by Brandon Yates. And notably, this is one with vocals, which immediately makes it slightly more memorable than some other tracks. It's the first one to have, like, screamy vocals, but the vocals are done by a woman, which is just something I've never really heard in music. I've just never thought of that. You have, like, kind of circusy carnival signs, and then it's very much inspired by Get Jinxed, which was Jinx's theme song. But it works for Harley, too. It's just a fun... It's a pretty good song. I do think the lyrics are kind of stupid at times, but you still enjoy them. On to the actual fight. We got a 3D fight, and notably, I feel like there's a little bit of jank in it. Mostly just because, personally for me, I can't handle whenever characters aren't lip-synced correctly. It fucks me up. I don't like it. Though it only really happens at the start with Jinx, and then it kind of, like, sorts itself out by the end. Really just the start. Really the start is the only part that I have, like, issue with. Like, right before the fight starts. But then, you know, the fight starts, the music kicks in. All great. They use the standard, you know, Jinx design. I was a little worried they might have went for, like, the Arkeyan look. And I don't hate the Arkeyan design. It's just a different version of Jinx's base design, but I don't really like whenever a new design comes out and just overtakes the original one. That being said, the Harley design they picked for this looks great. I think it's a very good design for Harley. One thing I didn't expect that they did was, it was just a bunch of, like, fucking Looney Tunes slapstick nonsense, and it was great. You get the part where Jinx talks his fish bones, and Harley takes it straight. She puts on the Groucho Marx glasses. She's smoking a cigarette, or a fucking stick of dynamite, like a cigar. They have, like, the beat before the dynamite goes off. A ton of fun. And then they also have the bit on the roller coaster when they go over the moon. Then you get the part in the big top. And that's, like, your big Arkeyan moment, because you get the visuals. That one was, like, I think, like, the coolest part. Not the most fun, but the coolest. Like, the rest is fun, and then it's just like, now we need to do some cool shit. Cool fucking lines, like they're goofy lines, like the doctor's note, the second opinion. I think they're good lines for a fight, but they're cheesy. But what the fuck are you watching Death Battle for? Of course it's cheesy. Harley gets shot. It's all flowers, which I at least read as like a Suicide Squad reference, because that's what she sees like during her big hallway spear fight in the Suicide Squad. Like she slashes them all, but they all turn to flowers. And you get a nice reference to a previous death battle at the end, where Harley tries to trick Jinx in the same way that Joker tricks Sweet Tooth, but it doesn't work this time. Liked it a lot. I think the death is fine. She gets shot with, Jinx's ult. That's fine. I think the camera angle to finagle it from being shot from a standing person to a person slumped against a wall, but also so that the rocket lifts them up into the sky, was a little goofy looking and a little bit of jank as well. But it was tolerable because it turned into fireworks, and then her head fell off and hit the hammer thing. All good. And thankfully, they have brought back the comparison screen to give plus and minuses, so I don't have to figure it out myself. Jinx is stronger, is resistant to all of the toxins and venoms and such, and just has more weapons, Whereas Harley, while having a healing factor, that has less gear. She has just a couple trick items and some guns. Liked it a lot. And then the next time on is a classic Marvel vs. DC. This has already come out by the time I'm doing this, but I'll just tell you what I thought whenever I saw it, which is Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna. Marvel vs. DC, magic users, but this time the ladies, because Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate already happened. I don't really know anything about Zatanna. I know I like her design, but I don't really know anything about her. Haven't seen anything for her in it. Scarlet Witch, I watched X-Men Evolution, I watched Wolverine and the X-Men, I watched the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I've seen Wanda Maximoff before. And I also am just aware of the House of M event. So immediately I was like, Zatanna's a DC character. She probably has some fucking nonsense feats. All of them do. Hell, even fucking Harley that we just saw, I didn't know that she trained with the Amazons. She probably has some bullshit, but Wanda has created universes and been at the center of major Marvel crossover events. So yeah, I was rooting for Scarlet Witch. Or at least betting on Scarlet Witch. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do this for all of Season 9 at least. And I'll also try and get a little retrospective about it as well. I've already written down thoughts on all of Season 1 and some of Season 2. I'll get back to this another time. Thanks for watching.